Ram 1500. Today we're going to be doing the rear brakes. We're going to replace the rear brake pads and the rotors as well. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and pop the hood open. And as you can see, I took the cap off of that brake fluid reservoir. What we're going to do is when we push the piston back, the fluid is going to go up. So if you have too much fluid in that, go ahead and remove some of it. Now I got my jack right here. I got jack stands right there. So the tools we're gonna need: 10 millimeter, 21 millimeter flathead screwdriver, C clamp. I got my hammer just to break those bolts off, brake cleaner, new pads, and I got the rotors coming in. So we have two 10 millimeter right here. I already took this off, that's why it's sticking out like that. So you got 1 and 2. Go ahead and take those off. And then you got 21 millimeter bolt for the bracket right here, 1 and 1 right here. So go ahead and remove those two 10 millimeter bolts off first so we can take the caliper out. All right, so go ahead and take your 10 millimeter bolts off. Once you take them off, go ahead and put them aside and pry out your caliper right here. If it's not coming out, make sure that your parking brake is not engaged. If it's not and it's still not coming out like this, just stick your flathead screwdriver right here and put it in between. Try to grab onto the brake pad and just slowly compress it until it slides out. You're gonna put it right here, and then you just basically trying to compress the piston back a little bit. Once you take that off, you don't want your caliper dangling, so make sure you grab something to put right here at the bottom. Go ahead and pry out one of the brake pads off, like this one right here. Then we're gonna gently put it right in between the piston, and you're gonna use your caliper to basically compress that piston all the way back in. This one is already compressed in, but I wanted to show you guys how to do it. Basically, you're just squeezing the piston back in all the way down until it stops. When it stops, take your caliper off, take the old brake pads off. Get a metal wire brush or something to clean that off, or just use a brake cleaner. Make sure you clean all that dust off. Then you can put that caliper aside. Now we're gonna go ahead and take off the 21 millimeter bracket bolts. Take the top one off and then do the same for the bottom one. So you can see I'm holding the ratchet with my left hand and tapping it from the top with a hammer. That way you don't mess up the bolts when you're doing that, so you don't slide off, so your socket doesn't slide off and can damage the bolt. Alright, so we got 2 bolts off. This is our caliper bracket. Still got my brake pad in there. Then you're gonna go ahead and remove these 2 hardware. Go ahead and take them off and clean this with the brake cleaner. All you do is you put it on an angle like this, and then you twist it just like that, and then she goes in like this. All right, then we can slide the other new one the same way, just like that, and we have this set up ready. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove the rotor first. and then we're gonna slide this in just like that when we're done. But let's go ahead and remove the rotor. If it's stuck, go ahead, get you a big hammer like this one, and then we're gonna tap it right here. Or if you're gonna replace the rotor, if you don't care, go ahead and tap it from the bottom. Keep tapping it until it slides off. There's different sizes in these rotors, so make sure you get the right one. This one, it says it right here. Then we're gonna go ahead and spray all that. The parking brake, spray it good with the brake cleaner. Get all the dust off. Then right now I'm just waiting for the new rotor to come in. So another thing that you guys need to check for is these sliding pins. Make sure they're sliding in and out freely. I would go ahead and just recommend taking it off, so you can pop it off from here, and you can just pull it from the top and then clean the inside of it, and then put some grease inside, like use some kind of brake, I don't know, brake grease. Just put grease all over it and then slide it back in, and make sure they're sliding in and out freely like this one. Alright, so I got the new rotor in. Alright, so I got the new rotors. I'm gonna go ahead and just spray a little bit of brake cleaner. We're gonna wipe all that grease off. This side. We are going to slide the new rotor in, just like that. Make sure it's not too tight with the parking brake. If it is, you might have to adjust the parking brake, which is, I think it's right at the bottom to adjust it. Anyway, this one slides in pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and slide in this one as well. We're gonna use our 21mm bolts back on. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Alright, so we got 2 bolts almost in there. That's tight. Make sure that these 2 brake pads are sitting flush against the rotor with the bracket, with the new hardware in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and slide in the new caliper. So as you can see, there's this these 2 tabs right here. So they sit right up against the caliper. And go ahead and slide in the first bolt. Just hand tight it first. All right, so we have the brake pads in there. Make sure they're sitting flush against the rotor. Then we're just gonna apply a little bit of brake grease right here. You don't have to go crazy on that. Put some in the back too. You could also put some right up in here on that piston. Now we're gonna go ahead and slide the caliper back on. Two things you gotta look out for. You see this edge right here? That has to sit, it has to sit like that up in here. And then you got these two tabs right here, so they sit right up against that caliper. I'm gonna show you in a second. Make sure these two tabs are pushed all the way back in. There we go. And we're gonna put bolts right here. We're just gonna hand tight it for now. So put the top one first, and then I'm gonna put the bottom bolt. Both of them are hand tight for now. And then once they're both in there, go ahead and tighten it up using your ratchet. And do the same with the bottom one. This is what it should look like right here, and then your two tabs at the bottom right there. Do the same for the other side, and then when you get done, go ahead and sit inside the car and pump your brake pedal about 3-4 times until you feel that brake pedal go hard, and then you can crank up the car, take it for test drive. But before you do that, make sure you put your brake fluid reservoir cap back on. Close the hood, pump the brakes, and then crank up the car, take it for a test drive. That's it. I hope this video helped you guys out. If you guys got any questions, comment below. Give me a thumbs up. Also click on the subscribe button. And again, thanks for watching, guys.